Okay, Shalom, Shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoyimla, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM RKHAHAKADASH. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. Just want to state the water to all the H.I.M and YAHAWAH that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes and commandments of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI to the best of their ability. This is YAHAWAH. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And want to get Ecclesiasticus 35, 13 through 15, but the point is in verse 15. This is also known as the Book of Sirach in the KJV 1611 King James Bible. If you don't have that app, get you a King James app with the 1611 Apocrypha in it, because those books are canon. Those books are very important to know the history of our people, the history of the Greeks, which are called Gentiles in the New Testament. And also it gives you a lot of history of the enemies. It gives you history into the prophecies of the end days. It goes with it. And we can see by the Spirit as to why the so-called white man took it out and said it is not a part of the Bible, because of it actually, it actually goes against them, you know. So, and they know it, you know, because it gives too much history as to who the children of Israel are today, when you put everything together by the Spirit. But anyway, grab that app if you can. If not, you can buy it. You can also buy that book. You can buy a King James 1611 Bible out of Borders bookstores or probably Amazon, things of that nature. You can look it up. But they also have the individual. It's a red book. Sometimes they'll come in black. They used to. But it's a little individual red book. Same thing. It's just separate from the actual Bible, you know. So you can get one of those if need be. It's very important to have those books, have that book all together. You need the complete Bible. We need the completeness of the scriptures. See, the enemy, the so-called white man, he got his hands on the book and he decided what should be said and what can't be said after whitewashing all the images and giving us white Jesus, which we know our Lord is not some white guy. There's no blonde hair, blue-eyed white guy in the scriptures, man. Matter of fact, if you get that King James 1611, it don't even have no letter J's in it. You see? It don't have no letter J's in it. You know, if you get that book, if you know, and I would have to say too, it would probably be better if you buy the separate red book, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because it speaks a little more clearly through. The other one is gonna speak like old English, and sometimes that can be confusing to newcomers that's coming into this truth. Now, I bought an app from the Apple store, you know, out of my this is Android right here. Of course, I'm not on my Apple, but I would show it. But I bought an app for, I think, about $25 or so out of the Apple store. KJV is called Eastward. Very good Bible with a bunch of translations. I love that Bible. It's been worth it. I've had it since I've come into truth. When I first came in, you know, because you want to invest into this truth as well. Don't get me wrong, you know, buy a couple of things, man. If you're going to teach, get you a tripod. You know what I'm saying? Get the things that you need to go out and teach the words of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI if he's placed that spirit on you. Don't be afraid to spend money on that, man. It's you know, most phones got a decent camera on it, but if you want to get a camera, whatever you need, get it and go forth, man, to teach the good news of the gospel, man, because we're living in the last days and we don't have a lot of time left, and there are a lot of newcomers that are being awakened to this truth. So let's go on with the lesson. It's not going to be a long lesson. Ecclesiasticus 33. Let's start at verse 13. And as the clay is in the potter's hand, to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as liketh him best. So the clay is the people. The potter is YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. And, you know, you've seen some of these craft classes. You can go and you can paint. You can, you know, you can go and, you know, it kind of looks like what appears to be mud. It's on a spindle. And, you know, people make all kinds of stuff. They make vases. They make jars. They make, you know, coffee cups, whatever. Damn ashtray, whatever, waste can. You know, people make all kinds of stuff. They just go and they create, right? So the Lord is like that. We're people, you know, in the potter's hand. And he's fashioning everybody to the way that he wants them to be. And that goes down to nations. You see? See, you'll have people say, well, we're all one race, the human race. Okay, well, you could say that. Let's just say we're all people. But we're not all the same as people, because the Lord didn't make us all the same. If he did, we will all look alike. We will all speak the same. We will all have the same spirit, so to speak. The Lord created 18 nations of people. And, you know, we all have a different spirit. And the Lord chose a race of people out of those nations for himself, and that's the tribes of Jacob, the 12 tribes of Jacob, the children of Israel. He chose them as his inheritance. Look, this is my portion out of all the people that I created. Just like he has a favorite bird, he got a favorite place on earth, he got a favorite cattle, he got a favorite. See, the Lord, he has favorites too. But you have these so-called these damn Christians that run around and talk about how he loves everything, and he only has this one emotion, like he just loves. He doesn't hate, he doesn't get angry, he doesn't, you know what I'm saying? But that's not true. Scripturally, it tells you that the Lord hates things, Scripturally, the Lord, it tells you that the Lord kills people. You see what I'm saying? So we have to do these simple lessons like this to let our people know, right? That what you've been taught in the Christian church, you have to remove all those. You gotta be washed over, man. You gotta get rid of all that Christianity, white Jesus shit about the Lord loving everybody, because that's just not true, right? So we can see that he fashions the clay the way that he sees fit. Verse 14, it says, good is set against evil. Okay, so did he create good? Of course he did. Did he create evil? Of course he did. But you'll have Christians that say, no, the Lord has nothing to do with evil at all. But he does. He got everything to do with it. It says, and life against death. Did he create life? Of course he did. Did he create death? Of course he did. You can't have one without the other. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So now you have a godly people that's against the sinners, and you have the sinners against the godly people. Did the Lord create both sets of those people? Of course he did. Verse 15 is the point. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2, one against another. So that's the point. 2 and 2, one against another. So the Lord created good. He created evil. He created, matter of fact, a good example of that, of how the Lord created things as well, is in Ecclesiastes right here. Now, we was just in a book of Ecclesiasticus. Now, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, what you'll get in the original 66 books that generally your regular Bible, or what they call the regular Bible. But there are two books kind of similar. That's why they call the book of Ecclesiasticus the book of Sirach also. So you could say Sirach. A lot of people would generally say Sirach. Okay, but this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So within this, if you read this, what you're going to get is a lot of 2 and 2s. The Lord created, good. He created evil. He created up. He created down. He created wet. He created dry. He created calm. He created erratic. He created humble. He created prideful. He created righteous. He created unrighteous. He created wickedness. He created, just so on and so forth. Everything has that complete opposite. There's nothing on the planet that don't have that complete opposite. Because other than that, it would be an imbalance. And an imbalance to the Lord is an abomination. And we can get that as well. But as you can see here, it says there's a time to be born. Verse 2, I'm going to just start there. No, let me start from the top. Verse 1. To everything there is a season, a time to every purpose under the heaven. And these are just times, you know what I'm saying? But the Lord created, everything got an opposite. A time to be born, right? A time to die. That's a 2 and 2. You can't be born if you're not going to eventually die. You can't have birth without death. Time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. So you have, what you would call a seed time where you're planting, and then you will have what you would call a harvest. You can't have a seed without a harvest, It says a time to kill and a time to heal. See? So you got to be alive or to be killed, or a person may be wounded, and then there's a time to be healed. You see what I'm saying? So it goes on and on. It says a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh. So you can't have a frown without a smile. You can't have laughter without crying. You see what I'm saying? So that's the point that I want to make on that. So let's go to Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, a false balance is an abomination unto the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. See, a false balance, that would be an abomination to the Lord. If there were wet and there wasn't dry, that would be an abomination to the Lord. See? As a matter of fact, let's get Isaiah. Real simple scriptures, precepts, but we have to, go off into this sometimes, and repetition. A lot of the times, Apostle Gabar, he always says the father of skill. But this is Isaiah 45 and 7. It says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. See? Let's get that back again. I form the light and create darkness. See, you can't have light without darkness. That would be an abomination to the Lord if it was so. I make peace and create evil. See, you can't have peace without evil. The Lord do all these things. See? It's clearly telling you that it's the Lord. Right? Real simple. But like I said, a lot of newcomers are coming into the truth and they don't know these things. So when you get simple stuff like this, it opens up more to be gathered, you know what I'm saying, as far as the scriptures. Because once you understand that the Lord created all things, it takes you to another level. Because I never knew, you know, and that man's goings of the Lord. A lot of people don't know that the man's goings of the Lord is no such thing as free will. There's no such thing as you getting up and doing what you want to do. But that's something that's been taught to us as a people. That you can get up, you can write down goals, and I'm going to be this when I get 12, when I'm 26, I want to be here and do. You might make, you know, a list of things, but if it's not according to the will of the Lord, you're not doing it. Because the Lord is in control of your every step and how you get there. Just is what it is, man. Amos 3:6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord have not done it? See that? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil, see, in a city, and the Lord have not done it? And that's just to prove that, you know, these Christians are lying when they tell you that the Lord just loves, 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 loves. That's not true, man. That's a false balance. We're talking about the Father of spirits. We're talking about the one that, you know, destroyed the whole earth with a flood, man. It only saved 8 people. So how is it that he loved everybody? This is the same God that killed all the firstborn of Pharaoh's firstborn. Can you imagine that? That was your lineage being carried on. And it said that not one house didn't have a dead body in it from the firstborn of the Egyptians, even down to their animals. Imagine losing your very first son, and he's supposed to be the one that's going to carry on your lineage. And we talking about old sons that could have been in their 60s. The firstborn of a son, he could have been in his 70s. The firstborn of a son, that could have been 3 years old at the time of that, when all that happened, man. You had 4 years old, 5 years. You had people that was, you know, young men, you know, young boys that was just turning into young men, just got married, probably died on the night of their marriage. You know, firstborn. You know what I'm saying? You have to imagine, place yourself in that situation and place yourself there. You know, the elders always say, you know, imagine this stuff. You know, when you read the scriptures, imagine yourself being there. Go off into your mind and see yourself being there. Like, damn, what would have been going on? You know, we don't know, but, you know, you can kind of imagine, like, what could have been happening at the time when all those kids and all those old men and, you know, the firstborn of the Egyptians was dying like that. What was going on during those plagues? And if the Lord loves everyone, why did he just do that to them and not the Israelites? And then why, after the Israelites came out of Egypt and went to, you know, the Holy Land, why did the Lord kill off, so, you know, the other nations like how he did, if he loved everybody? And then all of a sudden you get to the New Testament and all of a sudden the Lord loves everybody and everybody can be saved. But see, that's why I say get that Apocrypha, because the Apocrypha got that history. You got 300 to 400 years of history that's being left out when you go to the New Testament, because that Apocrypha is right in the center of the Old Testament and the New Testament. So when they took that out, they took out a lot of history, and a lot of people don't know that history. So now when you get to the New Testament, all of a sudden the Lord, he loves everybody that he called his enemies and the enemies of the children of Israel, according to Psalms 83. You read through Psalms 83 to give you a whole list of all the nations, and those nations hate the Israelites to this very day. Now, as you watch the Olympics, one thing about this Olympics is, when you look at it spiritually, what you can see is Israelites scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth, and they're performing for their oppressors. All these medals that's being won, those are Israelites that's winning those medals. I don't care what country it is, pretty much overall. Especially here in America, because all you see is Negroes running, jumping, throwing something. You know? Why? Because those are the children of Israel that are scattered in England. They got it's children. I'm looking at the whole list of people, all these countries that it's a bunch of countries you've never even heard of before. But it's a bunch of damn Israelites, man, that's there representing their oppressor. because they understand that the Israelites, we just have a spirit that the Lord placed on us where we're stronger, we're genetically built better, we're physically built better, we're mentally built better, and we're spiritual. And they do understand that, all they have to do is do a few things and we're serving it. We're servants. Generally, that's the spirit of us as a people. We have a zeal for Yahweh, but not according to knowledge. And generally, the Lord, he placed a servitude spirit on us. So when we serve with rigor. I mean, we go hard about serving. It's just, who are we serving? See, and what's got us messed up is we're serving false gods, false idols. We're into Islam. We're into white Jesus Christianity. We're not calling on our true power, which, the Lord's name is Yahweh, which means that he exists. We're the existing one. He the one that gave us that spirit. And see, these our enemies, they study us. They see how we move. They know how to operate. They know how to move and touch our buttons because they study us. They understand our history. They know how we are about being spiritual. They know that we're very highly spiritual people. All they have to do is just set their way of spiritual that they want. And once we get caught into that trap, that's why when you go into Proverbs, it talks about the voice of the whore, basically. That's pretty much about what's going on. I know, I was touching on that one subject, but I'm trying to think. Is it Proverbs 4? I mean, all through Proverbs, though, it tells you to not listen to this mysterious woman, so to speak, man, because she'll and this is what Esau does. He understands that if he can get us outside of our way of doing things, then he understands he can control us. And by us being the influencers of the earth, he can yet influence everyone else. And I was thinking about this yesterday. See, we're the salt of the earth, but too much salt can give you high blood pressure. And see what Esau has done. He has taken the so-called black man mainly. He has put him in gay commercials, HIV commercials, got him kissing on dudes, got him out here. He's the gangster in the movie. Everything is about him is just nasty, bad, and rough. And then he understands that we're the salt of the earth and that we'll push that out on the rest of the people. And he don't care because he's the fucking devil that the Bible speaks of. So he is giving the whole world high blood pressure through the Israelites, over salting it, man, but with wickedness. See? So there's going to be a good side of that thing, man, once we go into the kingdom. But this is, let me see. I wanted to see. Yeah, right here. Let me start at verse 11. Proverbs 4:11. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in the right paths. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened. And when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Take fast hold of instruction. Let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life. See? This word is our life. But Esau, he understands that, so he switches it up and gives us something else. It says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. See, that's where we went off at. That's why the Lord said to, don't do what these other nations were doing. Because they're going to get you caught up. They're going to get you in a trap. They're going to get you to worshiping their gods. And me being a jealous God, I'm going to punish you for that. Right? It says, avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it and pass away. This is a direct commandment from the Lord, because he's telling us that if we follow it and after these people, we're going to be destroyed. And again, going off into those 2 and 2s, you got righteous and unrighteous. See, we're righteous, but the Lord created an unrighteous people as well. See, he created a righteous people, but he created an unrighteous people. You have to get that wrapped around your head. You got to get that. Everybody is not the same. The Lord didn't create everybody righteous. He didn't give the law, statutes, and commandments to all nations. He only gave it to the children of Israel. He told us clearly, don't do what the other nations are doing. Matter of fact, in Jeremiah, I think it's 10 through 1 through 4, it talks about how the customs of the people are vain. Their customs are vain. They're not gonna do nothing but get you in trouble, right? It says, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. And see, this is the mentality of the unrighteous. This is the mentality of the wicked. But yet he has pushed his philosophy off on our people, and our people stay up all damn night thinking of something wicked to do. They can't go to sleep until they do some wickedness, right? It says, for they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. My son, attend to my words, incline thy ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. So if you go against this, there's an opposite to that. There's a 2 and 2 to this. The Lord says he placed life and death before us. Choose one. You see what I'm saying? There's no in between. You know, we have balance, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be over righteous, you know what I'm saying? And you know, but you damn sure don't want to be wicked, you know, but you should have always be meditating on the scriptures. You should be always meditating on what YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is saying. Spiritually, you should be in the spirit, you know, at all times, best you can. Again, you know, like when it comes down to unrighteousness, you know, because Jay could get into this and they'll just get too righteous and you can destroy yourself being too righteous. That's like to say, for instance, if, you know, say for instance, I'm getting ready to go to camp. I think I might ride my bike today, but you know, if I were to drive, say for instance, and I catch a tire flat, I mean, you know, on a Shabbat, say it's the Sabbath, and I catch a tire flat on my way to camp. Do I not change my tire because the scripture says, you know what I'm saying, to not do any work on the Sabbath? That would be over righteous. That would be very over righteous. What am I supposed to leave my car until the next day with the possibility of somebody taking it? That would be a thing of being over righteous. You know what I'm saying? No, go ahead and change your tire, man. Shit, get back in the car. You know, we ask the Lord all the time for mercy. You should be asking him for mercy anyway. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, just wanted to touch on this real quick, man. There's a duality when it comes to the Lord, man. The Lord is not just straightforward boring, man. He created war. He created peace. Right? He created life. He created death. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You can go. It doesn't matter what you go through. You're going to see that there's an absolute opposite to it. Some people said a yin and a yang. You know, what goes up must come down. Well, you can't have an up without a down. What goes around must come around. You know, you can't have a east without a west or a south without a north. You know, I mean, everything has them 2 and 2. Just test it yourself and just see. Just check it out yourself. Just run through it. Anything you think of, just go through it and say, well, hey, is there an opposite to that? Yeah, you're going to see that there's an opposite to it. See? It's nowhere around it. You're not going to beat it, man. You got the sun, the moon. I don't care what you got. Spring, you got fall. You got a summer, you got winter. I don't care what you just go through it and see. You'll see for yourself. But I'm going to end out there. I wanted to just touch on this because it had been on my spirit since yesterday to kind of touch on this. And matter of fact, this one comes to mind too. Check this out on Proverbs. Just to show a little further here. Prove all things. Proverbs 16:4, it says, the Lord hath created all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So if the Lord is just good all the time, like these Christians are saying, it says right here that he created the wicked for the day of evil. So what's going on here? Is there a contradiction going on? No, it's just that these Christians don't know the scriptures. They get hand-fed a few scriptures. That's what pretty much happens with them. They don't read for themselves. That's why the scripture says, blessed is the man that read. But you have to read with understanding. And also we need teachers. You know, that's why you should be praying for the apostles and the elders and the bishops, man, to be proper teachers and to continue teaching us the proper way. And be thankful for proper teaching. Pray for proper teaching, proper learning. That you don't go off, you know what I'm saying? That you're not guilty of adding to or taking away from the Holy Scriptures. That's one thing that you don't want to do, because that could be detrimental to you, you know? And if you teaching that the Lord just loves, you're adding to and taking away from the Scriptures. If you're teaching that you can eat shrimp, crab, lobster, pork, you're adding to and taking away from the Scriptures. The Lord, he told us not to do that. That's where you have another 2 and 2, obey or disobey. It is what it is, man. Obey or disobey. And that's pretty much what it is with the Lord, man. It ain't no, all right, well, I might. Well, I'm a halfway. Nah, man. You got to either be doing it or you're not doing it, man. It just is what it is. So I'm going to end out there. I pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwame Yashara.